government putting all measures in place to safeguard against COVID-19. Region 4 tabulation postponed and CARICOM leaders call for respect of Chief Justice's ruling. It's Thursday, March 12. We have lots to tell you today. Thanks for joining us. President David Granger, in confirming Guyana's first recorded case of the coronavirus or COVID-19, outlined what the government is doing to ensure the local population is safeguarded against transmission of the virus. Here's that report.
The head of state has assured that measures are being taken to prevent the risk of community spread. These include continued screening, which will take place at all ports of entry, and flagging of persons traveling from a list of high-risk countries.
Screening remains in place for those persons arriving from high-risk countries. 7 countries, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Brazil, French Guyana, Panama, St. Vincent, and the United States of America, have been added to the list of 8. People's Republic of China, Italy, South Korea, Singapore, Japan, Thailand, Malaysia, and Iran that were previously made public.
The Ministry of Public Health has in place enhanced sensitization of key personnel at all air and sea ports. Also, the ministry has enough personnel, protective equipment in the country for our health facilities. It has also adequate stores of respiratory medicine for the next 3 months. President Granger has called on the public to refrain from panic.
I use this opportunity to appeal to the public to remain calm and to implement all the advisories relating to personal hygiene, social distancing, and overall infection prevention and control. The government of Guyana will continue to keep the public informed as we manage this public health challenge.
There has also been a robust communications campaign rolled out by the PAHO WHO in Guyana with the Ministry of Public Health to keep the population updated on the virus and its impacts. The National Emergency Operations Center will be activated to provide sector-wide support. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
His Excellency David Granger says following their arrival yesterday, leaders of CARICOM have been fully engaged in dialogue, focusing on Guyana's electoral process.
We had meetings up to 1:30 in the morning of Thursday morning. So they were fully engaged, they worked very hard and aimed at getting a solution to the present situation. I would say it was successful. I was very happy with the outcome.
The head of state expressed that CARICOM remains committed to working in the best interest of the people of Guyana.
The 5 prime ministers, Barbados, Dominica, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, came to Guyana, and they were earnest. They were committed to working with Guyana and the stakeholders in Georgetown and the rest of the country to craft a path forward out of the present situation. And they were non-intrusive. They engaged the government, of course, and the parties in the governing coalition. They engaged the leader of the opposition, they engaged the observer missions and other stakeholders.
The delegation arrived on Wednesday and included CARICOM Chair, Barbados Prime Minister, Honorable Mia Mottley, and other CARICOM leaders, Prime Ministers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, Grenada, Dr. Keith Mitchell, Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, and Dominica, Roosevelt Skirt. For InfoHub, Anara Khan.
Meantime, CARICOM leaders band together to show their support for Guyana and urge parties who contested the March 2, 2020 elections to adhere to the ruling of the Chief Justice.
The Chief Justice of Guyana ruled yesterday, and her ruling was absolutely clear that she expects the returning officer to either start anew or complete the process with respect to the SOPs. And we hope and pray that there will be an adherence to not just the law of the judgment, but to the spirit of the judgment, because she was very clear in the last few paragraphs of her judgment as to what she expected in terms of the spirit and the principled position and the transparent process that is critical if this country is to go forward.
Prime Minister of Barbados and current chair of CARICOM, the Honorable Mia Mottley, at a media briefing at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown about noon on Thursday. Following the delegation's arrival in Guyana on Wednesday, Ms. Mottley said they met with His Excellency President David Granger, the executive of the APNUAFC, Leader of the opposition Bar Jagdeo, members and executives and presidential candidate of the PPP Irfan Ali. The delegation also met with representatives of other small parties and election observers. Later on into the night, another meeting was held with President Granger and the leader of the opposition.
We, the leaders of the Caribbean community, are committed to working with the people of Guyana for a free and fair process and transparent process. And we made it clear, because there is simply too much at stake for the people of Guyana. Georgetown is the home, the seat of the Caribbean community. Guyana is a founding member of the Caribbean community. And against that background, we are clear that as a community of sovereign nations, we cannot get involved in the internal processes, but we are family. And family does not stand by and watch others in the family suffer without making themselves available to be able to aid the process.
Ms. Motley said both sides committed to abiding by the laws of Guyana and Constitution of Guyana. The delegation included other CARICOM leaders, Prime Ministers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, Grenada, Dr. Keith Mitchell, Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, and Dominica, Roosevelt Skerritt. Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
The tabulation process for Region 4 was today postponed until Friday, March 13, pending the GCOM chair's receipt of the Chief Justice's written judgment.
The tabulation of the votes will continue after GCOM's chairman, Justice Retired Claudette Singh, reviews the ruling of Chief Justice Roxanne George to determine whether the statements of poll or the spreadsheet will be used to make way for a declaration. On Wednesday, returning officer for the district, Claremont Mingo, was ordered by the Chief Justice to return to the process of tabulation for Region 4 and completing the process before making a declaration. However, as the process began on Thursday morning, objections were made by People's Progressive Party Commissioner Sayes Conraj. Conraj claimed that the RO is using a spreadsheet to tabulate the votes instead of the statements of poll, and is insisting on using the previous numbers declared last Thursday. Meanwhile, a press release issued by GCOM stated that the RO was using information from the statements of poll he received directly from polling stations to compile a spreadsheet of the votes cast for each party. The Chief Justice, in handing down her orders, clearly outlined that, and I quote, "It would be for the returning officer and or the deputy returning officer to decide whether, in the interest of transparency, the addition process should be restarted or continued from where it was left off. It would also be for these functionaries to decide the best method of tabulating the statements of poll." End of quote. The tabulation process will continue when the GCOM chair has reviewed and analyzed the CJ's written judgment. The Commission will advise the stakeholders on the next steps as it continues to work assiduously to ensure full compliance with the Chief Justice's decision and the fulfillment of its constitutional duties, GCOM's release stated. For InfoHub, I am Kelon Rover.
Let's tell you now that the University of Guyana will remain closed until March 20, 2020, amid coronavirus concerns.
While the mid-semester break is over, the University of Guyana remains closed to non-essential staff and students and is expected to reopen for classes after March 20. The university's Transitional Management Committee urges students and faculty members to remain vigilant and stay safe. UG has released a statement through its Student Record and Management System, SRMS, outlining precautions as highlighted by the World Health Organization. During this period, students and staff are advised to carry on their educational activities as advised by lecturers and academic staff as far as possible using electronic means. Lecturers have continued with their course loads via electronic platforms to ensure that academic guidelines are met. In light of the events that are unfolding, several lecturers are postponing mid-semester examinations and projects to allow students time to deal with their health concerns. The University of Guyana will continue to update its students and staff through email, WhatsApp, and the UG website. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
When the news returns, all public schools remain open. All you need to know about COVID-19 and precautionary measures you can take to prevent its transmission. Details after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Ministry of Education is informing the public that schools remain open. The ministry is advising persons to take the necessary precautionary measures as advised by the World Health Organization, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, and the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies in relation to the COVID-19, also known as coronavirus. The Education Ministry says it will continue to update the public. A checklist for teachers and staff. To view this checklist, visit our website at dpi.gov.gy. With Guyana recording its first case of the coronavirus or COVID-19, many persons may be wondering where did it originate. In this report, we highlight the origin of the disease.
On March 11, 2020, the World Health Organization publicly characterized the 2019 coronavirus, or COVID-19, as a pandemic. Guyana recorded its first case that same day. COVID-19 reportedly has its origins in Wuhan province, China. Here is some background on COVID-19 to keep you informed. It was New Year's Eve 2019 when health officials in China realized that a problem was brewing. A growing number of people were developing a rapid cough and fever before getting pneumonia. Doctors named the disease coronavirus 19 or COVID-19, indicating that a type of virus is causing the illness. When they tried to trace its origin, they found its likely source to be at the Wannan wet market in Wuhan, China. Out of the first 47 patients, 21 had been there. The market was shut down because the Chinese government and the world had seen similar outbreaks originating in similar markets in 2003 with the SARS outbreak and MERS in 2012. COVID-19 has so far reached over 118 countries and has killed more than 4,600 people, the vast majority Chinese nationals. A lot of the viruses that make us sick actually originate in animals. Wet markets, as they are called, are scattered across Asia and the Pacific, Africa's west coast, and the western, South, and Latin American coasts. Live animals are slaughtered and sold for consumption in wet markets. Oftentimes, animals are placed on top of each other and come into contact with other animals. If these animals then come into contact with or are consumed by humans, the virus could potentially infect them. If the virus then spreads to other humans, it causes an outbreak. This still emerging respiratory disease is part of a large family of viruses which also include the common cold. Neticia Isaacs for InfoHub.
A 24-hour coronavirus hotline has been set up by the Ministry of Public Health to help tackle its spread and to answer questions from concerned Guyanese.
In addition to other necessary precautions being taken to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, also called COVID-19, the Ministry of Public Health has put in place a 24-hour COVID-19 hotline. COVID-19, which was declared a pandemic by the World Health Organization on March 11, 2020, originated in Wuhan, China, and causes severe respiratory illness. It is recommended that persons who display symptoms of the virus or feel as though they may be infected call the hotline for guidance instead of leaving their homes to visit the hospital. The hotline will be operational on a 24-hour basis to Guyanese with concerns and questions. The hotline team will guide callers through the process to assess the situation. If symptoms are in line with that of the coronavirus and the person is very ill, a team will be sent to the home of the individual for further assessment. The numbers to call are 227-4986, extension 215, or 624-3067. The Ministry of Public Health is also reminding all Guyanese to take precautions by washing their hands correctly, avoiding hand-to-face contact as much as possible, using hand sanitizers and disinfecting surfaces properly. If you or someone else you know displays symptoms of the virus or feel uncertain about what symptoms you may have, do not hesitate and call the ministry's hotline today. The numbers are 227-4986 extension 215 or 624-3067.
Before we go, here are some steps to take to prevent getting infected with the coronavirus or COVID-19.
Here are some steps to take to prevent getting infected with the novel coronavirus. Maintain a distance of at least 1 meter from persons who are coughing or sneezing. Practice hand hygiene frequently by washing hands thoroughly with soap and water or using a hand sanitizer if hands are not visibly soiled. Cover mouth and nose with a tissue when coughing or sneezing and then discarding it. Resist the habit to touch the face. If you have a fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical attention early and share your travel history with the healthcare professional. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline in place to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
That's all for today. Connect with us on all our social media platforms, including WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Much more news is on our website, dpi.gov.gy. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye.